Hey all, how about a quick lesson on Nobody's Fault But Mine, at least the way Jimmy would have done it around 77 live on stage. Which is a little bit different from the studio one, but we'll get to that in a second. You're in E. And it starts with this little lick. It does that ad nauseum for way too long on the studio one. So on 3, at 3 and then off, then slide up to 5. And then the same thing, except the second half of it, next time through, is it's 0 slid up to 4 on the G string. Sorry. So that's pretty simple. Now, again, those are it's different from how he would have done it in the studio. Instead of sliding up, he would have bent up to those notes. Instead of, he would have bent it. Which is, I read an interview with Jimmy, and he said all through Zeppelin he used 8s, which are really thin strings. So that makes all those bends a lot easier. You slide them up on the live versions. Alright, it starts the same way on this last one. 3-5, 3-0. That's 2-0 on the G string. And then you would think it would be 2-0 on the G string, but it's not. It's 2-1. Bend up G at 2. Keep 1 covered. You just pluck it once into an E. So slowly, it's now. If I were going to do that, I'd add some of this just to give a little more weight to it. You get that ringing in it. It sounds like you got a guitar army a little bit. But for a live one, that's probably what I do. It does a bunch of those. Again, way too many in my opinion. In fact, in the live versions, they cut that down a little bit in 77. And then by the time 80 came, they really cut it down a little bit more. Then you're into 2-0 on D and then A. Bend up your E at the 3rd fret to an E. And the second time through, it's the same thing, except when you bend up the G, you go to an A. Nobody's fault, right? So you're at D. On the A string, you just do 5 to 7. But you just put 5th chords underneath. I kind of go off it to give it a little on that E5 chord. The second time through it, slide up the A to 11. At E, D, G, and B strings, your same old suspension that you see all over rock music. 1 up on the B string and 2 up on the D string. Now Jimmy would have gone with fifth chords E, F sharp, G, A, and walked up the neck. I kind of do it as E, F sharp, G, A. Nobody's fault but mine. Same thing he already did. If it's live, he would do. Which sounds kind of cool, but different from the studio one. And that one would be the same thing, except you do 2, 3 on the low E, and then trill the G string at the second fret. Just like Dazed and Confused in the song remains the same, that part goes that little bit. But anyway, through more verses and stuff. There's only one difference. When they're coming out of it, after the Nobody's Fault but Mine. When they're going into another verse, they do this. But when they're going into a break to start this again, they don't do it as they do. Oh, sorry. They do a slide down, E, D. That's how I do it. And an open A, slide down. A down to G, E. Same thing. And back to it. 2, 3, 4. Nobody's fault. But then you get into the harmonica solo, and for that part, it's. Sometimes he does it. Sometimes, but I think it's mainly this. Sometimes he doesn't even do that. He just does. Listen to yourself. Let's see if you can hear it. Again, the live ones are just a little bit sloppier. And he even does the strumming. There's one little bit that is a rhythm part coming out of the harmonica solo. You can learn that part. On the G and B at 13 on G, 12 on B. Then go down 2 frets. Then the third one. That's G and B at 9. Then you're at G at 9, D at 11. That's A string, 11, 9, open E string, 11, 9 on A, and D at 9. Back into it. Then into guitar solo, which is the same as. The only thing that's very end. nobody's fault. Then right, so it's up to D to E. E, D, B, A, G, E. You just got to make sure, it's sort of falling down the stairs there, but make sure you end with on E. Da, 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 da. At least that's how I hear it. You know, on the studio one, he would have overdubbed all kinds of harmony lines and everything on it, but it is a pretty straightforward live one. If you have an octave pedal, even better, but you could kind of get away with it. Sometimes it sounds to me on some of the bootlegs like he had the octave pedal on it and a phase shifter on it. So it's hard to tell with different, but I don't hear the phase shifter on all of the live ones. I only hear it on some of them. And on some of the soundboard ones, it's hard to even, I don't know if the soundboard recording picks up the octave pedal that you would have heard, you know, in the arena. So a little bit different, but a good one to play along with. Now in terms of the you know, what Jonesy and Bonham are doing, that doesn't concern you as a guitar player. You do your part and they come in with those accents where they're supposed to come in. That's not your problem. That's their problem to count it all out or just memorize where they come in. It doesn't affect you doing the riff, so don't worry about that. The timing of it is not that screwy if you really think about it. You can count through all of these, even if you didn't have a vocal or a which Bonham would have done in the live once he counted out the breaks. You don't need that. You can count it through on the album, and they all make sense for counting. Good luck.